I've generated over $1.5 million USD this year so far as a high ticket closer. Now, I've worked around 5 months of the year and it's currently June 16th. Here are the lessons that I've learned at age 20 from my journey so far, especially over the past month where I've been traveling in Europe and been meeting high level people here in Dubai. So let's get into the video. Lesson 1, and it sounds counterintuitive to what I've been doing for the last month, but it's been the download I've got. It's fuck the nomad lifestyle, get a long-term lease. When you're living out of a suitcase for a week or two, you unpack and then you move into the next location, or maybe even 1 month here, 2 months there, you never fully settle into one place. So there is a season for traveling, I agree. However, what I would suggest is if we be more aggressive with our traveling, so you tick off the places you want to go and explore, and then you pick one location that ticks the most boxes, get a 12-month lease there. Because there's nothing like your work optimization, your happiness, having a soul and having a home where you've got your, your multi-$1,000 water filter, you've got your sitting, standing desk, you've got your ergonomic comfy chair that's optimized with your best monitor. You can't have that when you travel. You've got all of your supplements. You've got your perfect meal prep company. You're in the right apartment with facility with the gyms. You've got your masseuse that comes over. Everything optimized in place. So that's been one of the biggest downloads that I've had on this trip, because since May last year, I've been traveling out of a suitcase. So starting next year, I'll be getting a full-term lease in Miami, Florida. Now the next component, this has been more recently in the last couple of weeks. It's the importance of having a high level network. Now, I know we all know this. Yeah, cool, right? I've been networking with really, really top people in the sales space. So my mentors that are either sales coaches or they run sales management agencies or they're phenomenal closers, right? Sales has been what I've been focused on network-wise, which has been great. I've got what I needed to get. I've become a authority in my space, right? However, networking with top people that are in different industries. So over the last few days specifically, met someone who's doing really, really good with his own fitness business, someone who's got a content agency. The perspectives that they give in a different industry has actually caused me to be more aggressive with my timelines. So I'm like, okay, I want to close to the end of year, then go into management, then do this, then do that. They're like, fuck that. Like, you've got the skills, you've got the track record. Start your business earlier, start it sooner. So hearing interesting perspectives like that, but then everyone else in the sales space is like, oh no, tick off the skills state at the end of the year. Now I'm finding that in between stage of ticking off everything, getting the final tie to my resume as a closer, then going to management consulting. So network outside of your industry. Another point for me, I've actually learned how I want a holiday in the future. I don't want to be doing tours of the Colosseum. Don't get me wrong, that was great. Done that once, probably never go back to Rome. It was cool. However, I want to be doing a 3 to 6 month block of just locked in work and then take a week off, no phone, go to a nice Greek island, get some sun, get a tan, cruising by a beach club. I obviously don't drink, so having some nice food, going for a walk, that's how I want a holiday. I don't want to be doing all this tour stuff 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's 1 week reset, and then we're good for the remainder of the year. Now, furthermore, the individuals we've been spending time with in Dubai, both me and my brother, they're all people in the sales space that are doing really, really well as those business owners I mentioned. Now, when I reflect on my mentors who I've been meeting here in person, they're all the top in their field. Top. Even the new mentor I just invested in. It's like the top at the niche that they target. The top getting people into sales and then getting closers to immense competency. And then helping managers scale to 6 figures. Like, these are all different demographics of my current mentors or recent mentors. So not just mentorship, we all know that. We know you need to get pay to play, get the skills, get the mentorship, get the network, etc., etc. But pay double. Pay for the best mentorship. Now, I don't have an incentive. I'm not selling your program or course. As I say this, there's no intention here. But if you're comparing two people and the investment is something that's going to hold you back, okay, someone's 7K, the next guy's 15K. Who's the best? Who is the best? You want to be around the best. You want to be associated with the best, because you never know, it might cost you a lot more than that 8K difference by you being associated with an average sales coach compared to the best in this space. Because whoever you're associated in your network, they automatically tie you to their level at a competency standpoint. So find the best, invest in the best. Now, be aggressive with your timelines. This is a recent download I got here from Dubai. Whatever timeline you set, let's say it's 6 months, 12 months to hit a certain goal or to do a certain business model, et cetera, et cetera. How about you make it 6 months and you just do double the work? I know that sounds crazy. Oh, I'm only doing 8 hours a day. But I can't do 16 hours a day. I got to sleep. Yeah, I get that. But if you do double the effort, it might bring you up to that 12, 13, 14 hour days, because you would drastically condense the timelines. So it's like, don't take a timeline from someone else's perspective. Acknowledge it. However, don't be afraid to say, fuck it, I'm going to condense that timeline and be as aggressive as I possibly can towards this goal. Like one of my mentors I met here for a dinner, the way he talks about his clients getting results and the way that he talks about his work, it's like everyone gets fucking results. I'm doing this, then we're doing this, then we're doing that. Like there's no ifs, buts, or maybes. It is just immense aggression and testosterone towards the goal. Another recent perspective was to document more on content. Now, I haven't been posting much on Instagram, nor have I been posting much here on YouTube. I've just been locked in, working, sticking to the plan to get to management. Now, that's my fault. That's my issue. I take responsibility there, because there's no point being a silent killer when you could be doing the same work, just an extra maybe 1, 2, 3 hours a week, documenting it. Now people know you're a killer. So you're no longer a silent killer. So the leverage you get, maybe it'd be 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years from now by documenting everything. Like I'm talking 1 YouTube a week, 1 to 2, 3, maybe reels a week, for example. Nothing too crazy. By being known, the opportunity is absolute tenfold. Okay? So document, do your content. It's there. It's the first thing that gets missed, I know. Another point which I've noticed, once again, here in Dubai, being around these high level people and the way they operate, is in-person business is always better than Zoom. Okay? Always better than a phone call, always better than texting. The amount of rapport, the relationships you build in person, tenfold compared to online. Like I know people that I've been communicating with for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years being the longest for one of the individuals we met. As soon as you meet him in person, it's instantly like, oh, what's up, brother? Like we're on great terms now, because we've done all the Zoom calls in the world, all these one-on-ones. But when you actually meet him in person, the trust, you're like, all right, you're about it. You can feel that energy, that aura, the trust. And so, all right, let's do business. Like, let's amplify what we were originally going to be doing together. So with anything, if you can meet people in person and do business in person, do it. Because there's a certain energy you can feel when you're face to face with someone compared to on Zoom. Like you can feel the snakes. Not that I've come across any in my interactions here, but if there was, you could feel it. But then you feel like, okay, you're a genuine person, you're a trustworthy person. The way you are to that waiter, the way you excuse yourself from the bathroom, the way you eat, the way you smoke your cigar says a lot about you as a man, and says a lot about your mannerisms, says a lot about what you do outside of your work and in your personal life, which those are all the things that we want to look for when we're going to be doing business with someone. Because when we're doing business with someone, you've got a financial risk on both parties. So you want to make sure everything's good, right? Now, another point, what I've noticed is being in shape gets you in the room. If you're unknown in a certain space, sector, or an in-person group, i.e., let's say Dubai, it's my first time here, by being in shape and holding yourself well and dressing well, it gets your foot in the door, it gets your foot into that conversation, right? Rather than, okay, you're unknown, they look at you, all right, we'll move on to the next person. I don't know, he looks like a bum, right? But if you're like, oh, cool, he's presentable, he's dressed nice, nice haircut, can shake a hand and look someone in the eye, you're instantly in that conversation. And then once you've got your foot in the door, you can just talk, be yourself, and then that's where those relationships start to prosper into other things. Now, another thing, what I've noticed is, I'm sure you've all heard the quote, work very, very hard in private, right? In private, we want to work hard. Also work hard in public, okay? So don't be that guy that works hard in public, not in private. You want to work really, really hard in your personal life and private when the camera's not on you, when no one's around, but also be seen working, right? Because if you're seen working by these people, they're like, all right, this guy's stuck, he's full pledged to accomplishing his goals. He's dedicated, he's motivated, he's disciplined to do the work. And if you can be seen working, in a lot of people, this is me personally, it's like, all right, cool, this guy's a hustler. I put him in a certain category. I'm like, I would trust this guy. I would do business with him because I know he's on. He's like, he's got a goal. He's gonna and fucking do everything in his power to accomplish that goal. And the last download, probably the biggest, it's a shiny object syndrome. However, it's a little bit different to that at face value, right? The point, moreover, it's don't skip the steps, okay? I'll give you a perfect example. For the last 3 months, because obviously closing, my living expenses are low, I make a decent amount of earned income. I want to get into trading and investing so I can multiply my money and my capital, get more leverage on that. I've delayed it, right? Because I'm closing. I've got certain goals I want to accomplish closing, then pivot into management. With sales managing, got more leverage, then I can fit in the trading in that schedule, right? So that's just an example where I see so many people, let's just talk closers, right? They hit a 20, 30K month. They go into trading or they go into maybe starting an e-commerce business on the side. The closing just kind of maintains and then fizzles out. The other business, the other endeavor does okay, right? But if they delayed the thing they wanted to do, that next step, and then, for example, drilled closing, got consistent 50, 60K months, so you've got the track record, get a management position where you've got the capacity to make 6 figures a month, you maintain that, right? Then you do the trading. But if you did the trading whilst you were closing, you probably wouldn't get to management because you wouldn't have the track record. So it's like stick to the main thing, keep the main thing, tick it off till the end, till you're in the undeniable group in that said industry, in that said space, then you can add on the other thing. Now, always be careful when you're adding on another thing. I get that. That's why I've been sales for the last 2 years, sales. If you know anything about my story, first 6 months before sales, I was trying all these business models under the sun. It wasn't until I stick with one thing and made it work. But now it's getting to the point where I'm on the back, I guess how do I say it? On the, let's say the last couple miles of that road of sales or closing, and then it gets on to the next thing. So don't make the hop too early. Tick off the skill, tick off whatever endeavor you're doing, because then that is your new baseline, right? Because I know, let's say a couple of years from now, I start a business, God forbid doesn't work. Obviously, everything I will do, I will make it work, right? Law of attraction, manifestation. Let's just say, God forbid it didn't. I know that within a month, I would be making 40, 50K AED per month again because of my skill, because I ticked off that skill. So that's just an example. But look, if you found some value in this video and you're not subscribed, hit subscribe, because why not? Drop a like button, drop something in the comment. If you want to see any other content, let me know. DM me on Instagram, that'll be in the description. And I'll see you guys on the next video.